Hey everybody, Baboody here, back with another Let's Build, but we're taking a break from Paragon, and I need to build a new Type 1 deck. I have a Lackey game this week, and I also have a local tournament this weekend, and yeah, I just wanted to try something new. So what I'm thinking here, the idea that I was thinking about was a 100 card Daniel deck. What would that look like? We've seen 50 card Daniel decks, but what would a 100 card version of the deck look like? So in order to get some inspiration, we're going to be looking at some decks here in the community decks. Let's take a look at See the Tree's Ancient Power deck, also E-Man's Daniel Greek deck, and maybe this Maximum Ancient of Days Daniel Greek deck. The main deck's only 55 cards for the 13 card reserve. And the idea here is I'm going to be trying to play a 100 card deck with Ancient of Days in there, seeing what we can do. So here is S. Kramer. I imagine that's Scott Kramer. So Scott actually, he plays in California, and I know Scott. He loves his Daniel deck. So this is probably the Daniel deck he's working on, or that he's played and showed up to with tournaments. Something that I added to all the redemption decks is the ability to do an Ancient of Day count. Ancient of Day count is the average number of cards your Ancient of Days is going to grab from the top of your deck. So for example, if I were to copy this deck and open up this deck as a copy, and then I said generate PDF, and I do this Ancient of Day count, generate the PDF. So yeah, I need to cut some cards from the reserve. 1, 2, 3, just some 3 random cards, save that. And now we're gonna generate the PDF. And then we're gonna check out what this Ancient of Day count is between all the 3 different decks here. So we see the Ancient of Day count up here. It's on average 7.3 cards are gonna be gotten off of the Ancient of Days. So there's like a caveat here. It's not really taking into account the fact that he's playing some like Daniel Lost Souls. If you play Ancient of Days and you see these meek Daniel Lost Souls, you're not really going to be putting them into play. So if we wanted maybe even more accurate Ancient of Day number, you just sub these out for some just random Lost Souls and get something more realistic. So yeah, there's not a better way to calculate the Ancient of Day number right now except by doing this. Maybe I could make that number more accessible. So yeah, I think it went down from like 7.3 to 6.4. So I think the real true number is somewhere in between these, because Ancient of Days, like sometimes you want to see the top 3 at Daniel Lost Soul so you can keep going. So yeah, somewhere between like 6 and 7 cards here for Scott's deck. So let me just add a note here. So Ancient of Days 6.5. So that'll be Scott's deck, 6.5. Okay. So we're just comparing here. So it looks like if I'm trying to build a 100 card Ancient of Days deck, and I probably want to be running Daniel for sure offense, but then the defense I can go like Greeks or Persians or Babylonians. So I have a couple different options there. So this is some Greeks. And so See the Tree, he's also running Greeks. Let's go ahead and see what his Ancient of Day count is. Let's copy that, and then let's run that. Oops, I'm gonna do that. Accidentally made it public. Don't want that. Try that again. Make PDF Ancient of Day count, and then See the Tree's Ancient of Day count. He's at 5.51. Okay, and I see what are his Lost Soul situations. So he's not running any Daniel Lost Souls. So See the Tree. See. 3.1 Ancient of Days. Okay, so for me, what I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to get a baseline of what other people are doing when they're playing Ancient of Days in their deck. And if I build a 100 card deck, maybe I want to try and get in that ballpark. So let's see. We've seen Scott around 6.5, Chad's around 5.1 cards. And now let's look at E-Man's deck. Let's copy and edit this deck. Then let's generate that PDF again. I think we can also maybe generate the Ancient of Day count if we made the image too. So let's just switch it up. Let's generate the image here. I think the image takes a little bit longer to do than anyways. So we're at 5.39 with E-Man. He's running 1 Daniel Lost Soul. So for E-Man, we'll just call it 5. Okay, so E-Man point AOD. Okay, so I think the minimum number of cards we want to be able to grab off Ancient of Days is 5. So let's maybe target our deck to be grabbing around at least 5 cards with Ancient of Days. So let's go back to comparing these decks. They all look like Daniel Greek decks. So yeah, let's just try and notice any patterns here between the decks. So I'm gonna open up in one and up in each tab here. Got the E-Man, and maybe let's start with their offense here. Let's try to figure out what Daniel people are using. We got the Daniel the Treasured, got Kramer. See the Tree, he's running Daniel the Treasured. Daniel Greeks, we're running Daniel the Treasured. I got to talk to E-Man last time we played, and he said normally he runs Daniel the Apocalyptist, but the reason he's running Daniel the Treasured is that he can set up banding chains with Captain in there. If he has I Am Sustainer, he can have his band be like CBP. So if you go like Michael, banded Daniel, and Captain, you can activate Captain's ability first and then banded Daniel. And then Daniel's protection from harm cannot be prevented. So that's like really strong. So if I did go Daniel the Treasured, I think I'd be interested in trying out that slant. Seems like E-Man is the only one running the Captain of the Host technology. I think that's newer tech, hasn't really been fleshed out yet. But Captain is not a Daniel card, so it's not really super intuitive. Let's see, these decks are running like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 heroes, 10 heroes, 11 heroes. So I'm just getting some baselines. Not that I'm trying to copy people's lists one for one. I'm just trying to understand what the average Daniel package is. Everyone's running Meshach. Is everyone running the Interceder? I don't think so. Interesting that E-Man cut Interceder, because I guess if you're running Captain, you don't have that Joshua or Daniel unity, so that makes sense. Let's take a look at the enhancements. I think we're going to be expecting to see this one. Definitely Faith Unbowed. Those are probably the two best Daniel, and Daniel's Prayers for consistency. Saturn or Sword is another great negate. So let's see. It seems like Born to Fire and Rescued from Lions are popular too. Joy. So looks like Chad likes Joy. He has some cannot be negated. He puts that on Daniel. So let's see if he puts this on Daniel, increases Daniel 7-0, then that hero's ability cannot be negated. Okay. And I guess I have some reading to do if I want to become more familiar with Chad's reasonings here. But I do like Angelic Guidance in these Daniel decks if you have the critical mass of silver cards. Like getting to Michael is really important. And if you're E-Man, getting to Captain is really important. Let's see. Let's look at Scott's list one more time. Okay. So I think we're ready to start building a deck here. So I'm just going to go to a deck builder and start cooking up a deck. So we'll call this Big Daniel. And we definitely want to maybe start by just searching for all cards with Daniel. So we'll start with the Daniel Dominance. That's pretty easy. Son of God, Ancient of Days, Bound in Battle. And if I just type in Daniel and go to the drop down and select reference, now we have an easy list of all Daniel cards. We probably just want to filter on good or neutral cards right now. And yeah, here we go. So because we're a banding deck, we're not going to be really having a lot of initiative all the time. Be playing stuff like this. This card is nice in 100 card decks, but I just don't foresee us being able to use an enhancement like this very often. Let's just add the enhancements we know we're going to play. So 100 cards, you can play one copy, multicolor cards, no matter how many cards are in your deck. So we stuck at one of those, and then we can play 2 Prayer of Power, which is pretty nice. Put those in, add that Michael, add 2 copies of Meshach. He's the best hero in our deck, or one of the best heroes. Add 2 copies of Rescued from Lions. Maybe add 2 copies of Given from the Lord. Gabriel, we definitely want the first copy, but I don't know if we want the second copy. He is unique, and yeah, we'll start off with 1 copy. We can go up to more. Kill 1 copy of Faith Unbowed, 2 copies of Four in the Fire, 2 copies of Eternal Believers, 2 copies Daniel Guardian, 1 copy of Daniel Prayer. So now because we're a 100 card deck, we can do the interesting thing where we can have the best of both worlds. We can have 1 copy of Daniel, then 1 copy of Daniel the Treasured. So depending on the situation, we can grab one of the Daniels from our decks. Abednego, there's 2 versions of Abednego. What version are people using? That's the old one. They're all, consensus seems to be the old one is better, and I agree with them. Being able to protect lost souls from evil cards in the Daniel band is great. And this guy is pretty bad. I think he's only really useful if you're doing a Daniel band him in first. Activate his ability to play a Daniel human from the deck, and then then Michael bans to Gabriel, and Gabriel bans to that Daniel human. So I think that's the only situation where I think that is valuable. But yeah, Abednego's definitely not superstar by any means. So we'll just add 1 copy of him. Another card that's good in the Daniel band is Servants by the River. He's a redundant lost soul protection. So in any generic, so we can run 2 copies of those. and he fits in the Daniel band. As far as Shadrach, is playing the new one, the new one, the new one. And yeah, I also, again, agree with this. Being able to band in a bunch of heroes and do prevent enhancements, that's really strong. And a lot of the Daniel enhancements we're playing have a lot of power, like let me get this. Oops, broken. Okay, so yeah. Rescued from lines, yeah, that's 6 power. That cannot be negated. This is 4 power. This guy's gonna be good. I think I want to play 2 of him. Servants by the River is amazing. Sorry, Servants of the King. Sorry for all my misspeaks. This guy's great. Putting him in a banding chain and drawing some cards is amazing. We've already got our Son of God going. So we gotta figure out right now if we're trying to do a Daniel Unity deck or if we want to try and do the Captain of the Host plan that E-Man was doing. Or even we could go 1 copy of Interceder, 1 copy of Captain. And even if we draw a Captain, it won't be the end of the world. So this guy's unique. So playing 2 copies of him in our 100 card deck would be a lot. But just being able to have an add to battle, reserve this to negate evil card, I mean, that seems decent. We'll add 1 copy for now. We have 18 heroes, and most of the decks we saw were running about 10 or 11 heroes. So if we go to 20 heroes, maybe that's good enough. Okay, so maybe we start, I think we exhausted all our hero options that we wanted to try out. I mean, we could do Leaders at the Lord. Negating neutral cards except Daniel cards is, I don't think, is where I want to be right now. And revealing the top 7 and playing Lost Soul is also where I don't want to be right now. And also there's these random angels like negate band, underdeck, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that's where I want to be either. I'm more interested in Angel of the Winds. Reference the winds. So add 2 of that guy. This guy's great to getting to Daniel or Meshach. So we're up to 20 heroes. Another thing we could do if we wanted more redundancy to Daniels, we could add the Watchman. So I don't know if I want to add the Watchman, but I'll just add him to the reserve. And another thing we could do is Victorious Being. Okay, so let's save that draft right now. And let's go back to the enhancements. So we're a white or silver deck. So let's see, let's set up these filters. Let's do white and silver or good enhancement. Wait, no, that's not what we want. White or silver and not and good enhancement. Here we go. Just got to get those filters right. These filters are powerful. They're just maybe a little finicky. So if we're a deck attacking with a lot of heroes, we don't want to play any enhancements per se that don't really do anything, that they're not interrupt speed. So for example, what do I mean by that? I mean cards like cards like this: underdeck all evil characters in battle. You have to get initiative to play this, and this deck is not going to be getting initiative very often. So that's what I mean. So I'd much rather do cards like interrupt the battle and do something. So white does have a lot of good interrupt the battle stuff, but the thing about the Daniel band is that you don't need a lot of enhancements. Usually you can just rely on your dominance and your heroes to power through. But I did like Love Righteousness, 2 copies of that, being able to assemble the Daniel band easier. If we're going Captain of the Host, this becomes more appealing. So I'll add this to the maybe board. I'm going to click this button, and down here it gives you option. The top one is adding to deck, and the second one's adding to reserve. Jaden had suggested I add a new section called maybe board, and I looked into that. It's going to take a little bit of coding to make that possible, but it's something I want to add one day. But right now I'm just using the reserve as the maybe board. All right, so we have some Angel Warriors in this form of Servants of the King and Michael. So if I wanted to add more card draw, I could definitely do like Angel Chariots. So let's see, what other Angel Warriors we got here that I might be interested in putting in my deck. Got the Lord's Army, not bad there, not bad. Victorious Being, in theory, I could do Victorious Being, put Angel Chariots on him, attack, draw 3, get to a profit. I mean, you're putting 2 cards down and then drawing 3, so you're just that's like a net copy of 1 card. It's not the best. So let's see, Michael. We're already playing Michael. We don't want to play. We could play 2 versions of Michael, but I don't know if I want to do that. I mean, maybe I could. It's just awkward. Okay, Captain, you would negate the ability on our Angel Chariots. Regardless of Protect is nice to have in the Daniel band, but we're not using a lot of silver enhancements. May take a silver weapon from deck. So this can take Angel Chariots from the deck. Gotta filter to OT Angels. I want to, in theory, be at least able to ban to these guys. So I can go to Captain, draw 1, negate an evil card. It's not terribly good, but if I wanted to continue doing more OT Angel things, you may draw X, which is probably going to be 1, draw 1, or exchange up to 1 good card for hand with equal number of good cards from reserve. Yeah, that doesn't seem the best. Definitely need more Zechariah heroes to pull that off. So yeah, there's not a lot of OT Angel Warriors, Defender of the Saints. I don't think we'll be running priests. I don't think we have Purple Kings. Don't have Genesis heroes. So yeah, I think the most appealing one is the Lord's Army. If I wanted to add more OT Warrior Angels or Captain, then Captain would be fighting with this Captain. Overall, I talked myself out of adding Angel Chariots. Although in like Type 2, you could like run 4 copies of Angel Chariots, 4 copies of this, and that would make it a lot more healing. But like putting Angel Chariots on a Michael is nice, I guess. I just don't think I have enough Angel Warriors to make it work. So let's add this Captain while we're at it and reset the filters. I want to add 2 copies of Angelic Guidance, and here's my reasoning. Something that can go grab the Angelic Guidance is the Covenant. So what if we had like a Book of the Covenant, and we had a Covenant package in the reserve? So we could add the new Covenant in our reserve. So on turn 2, we could activate Book, grab the new Covenant, search for Angelic Guidance, play it, and then grab any silver card out of our deck. So that'll give us access to any of our silver cards. But the reason I also want to add this is for solving the second biggest problem for 100 card decks. I don't know why I said second. Probably the biggest problem for 100 card decks is getting to your big 2 dominants for Son of God, New Jerusalem. So this is a Daniel card. So getting to Daniel Son of God should be easy in theory. Grab Eternal Believers, bada bing, bada boom. Yeah, well, that's the biggest problem. The second biggest problem is how are we going to get to New Jerusalem? Well, this card, are we going to get to Second Coming or New Jerusalem? In most decks, they run Second Coming because Second Coming is just a little bit more flexible version of New Jerusalem. And it's almost always correct to play the first Second Coming instead of trying to play New Jerusalem. But there are situations where playing New Jerusalem is better. And so, for example, in a 100 card deck where you have access to the New Jerusalem site. So here's the reason why I want to add this site in my deck. It's a multicolor site. So that means it's all brigade colors. So in theory, it means it's silver. This is a silver card. And the Angelic Guidance says you may search your deck for a silver card. So on turn 2, turn 3, turn whatever, I can activate Book of the Covenant, grab New Covenant, use Angelic Guidance to grab New Jerusalem and attack. And then after they block, add New Jerusalem to battle. That says you may search deck or reserve for New Jerusalem, and then I get New Jerusalem. So all that to say, this is a way for me as a Daniel deck to be able to get to New Jerusalem in a timely manner. So yeah, this is obviously going to blow up my Daniel Unity, so we probably want to stay away from Daniel Unity if that's the case. So the Interceder, we might have to say goodbye to the Interceder and add more cards like Victorious Being or the Watchman. So if I had to add one between the two, Victorious Being's a little bit more flexible because it can grab Gabriel, but Watchman's a little bit more flexible because it can grab Daniel the Apocalyptist, and its ability to negate evil search and shuffle abilities is irrelevant. So let's just split the difference. Let's add a 1-on-1. So let's do Victorious Being. Let's do Watchmen. So now we got 22 heroes main deck, so that's a pretty good number. I don't think I want to go up above it right now. Got 15 good enhancements. Are we missing anything out of my top of my head? Could add a Do Not Question if we wanted more negates. Given from God. We have 4 in the fire. We have Joy. So what would Given from God look like in our deck? Oh, we already have it. So it says, look at the top 7. You may take a good Daniel card used by Daniel Human. Repeat 1 time. So how many good Daniel cards would we have? So maybe, are we going to be adding any other good Daniel cards? So let's go good. Reference contains Daniel. Let's just think about if we're going to add any more Daniel cards. We might add like a Kingdom of the Divine. It's like put that in there, maybe. Might add like a 70 weeks main deck, then 1 in the reserve. And then I don't think we'll be adding any more main deck. So let's count up the number of Daniel cards in our deck so far. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. So 34 cards out of 100. So let's open up a hypergeometric calculator. So we have a number of successes. What did I say? 34. That's what that's going to be. The hypergeometric calculator is a way for us to calculate the probability of seeing a good Daniel card in the top 7. So the sample size is 7. The population size, we're playing a 100 card deck. So maybe the population size is 100. 100 card deck, 34 of them are Daniel cards, good Daniel cards, I should say. And we want to get at least 1. So the chance to see exact 1 or more of good Daniel cards in the top 7 of a 100-card deck, given that there's 34 good Daniel cards in that deck, is around 95%. So 5% of the time you're going to whiff. 20% of the time we're only going to see one of those. Yeah. So 95%, that's pretty good. But the other thing we have to take into account that this card really cares about if there's 2 good Daniel cards in the tops 8 of deck. So let's do this. Let's do sample size 8, success is 2. So that drops down to about 82% of the time we're going to be able to grab 2 Daniel cards, 2 good Daniel cards there. So is that good enough for me to want to continue to play this card, or should I just rely on cards like Love, Righteousness, and Angelic Guidance, Daniel's Prayer? We already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We already have 5 territory class. We're adding that. That's 6, 7. 6, 7. So I'm just like, oh man, I don't know how many territory class cards I want to have. This does get us to our dominance, like Son of God and Ancient of Days easier. So I guess we'll keep it for now, but it's something we could probably think about cutting later. Okay, so let's save that. We have a good idea of what our offense is going to be. I think the missing part of the puzzle piece is going to be the defense now. Let's fill out the rest of the deck of the dominance. Let's add that OT, Angel of the Lord. Let's get that Glory of the Lord going. We could add a buckler, which grabs our Michael, Captain, or Victorious Being. So that gets to like our 3 top characters in the deck. But maybe we should be trying to do something better with our dominance. If we're worried about clay decks, we can add Guardian of Your Souls. If we're trying to play an oppressive deck, we could play Harvest Time. If we got an Isaiah Angel, we wanted to band into battle, we could start negating characters in Lost Souls, but I would say Buckler's maybe a little bit better there. So let's see, we're at 6 dominance. We can play 14 dominance in a 100-card deck. So yeah, we want the Crouch Choice, and then I'm just looking for any other good dominance. We can add evil dominance later. Probably want the woes. Copy of 3 woes there. Yeah, so we're going to be able to play more battle dominance than these other decks are playing. It's one of the benefits playing, Big Daniel. And we're up to 50 cards. There it is. There's our deck. But we haven't even added Lost Souls or evil characters yet. Okay, so that's like a good place to continue right now. Now, the other thing we're going to have to figure out is what defense we want to run. So we can do Greeks. We've seen some examples of that. But let's take a look at the community decks and see if there's any Babylonians running around. So let's look at this deck by Luke Anderson, see if he's running Babylonians. No, he's not. Jailer, he's running Babylonians, right? But this is more of a defense heavy deck, which could translate into 100 cards, I guess, in theory. Like, how many of these are Daniel, you know? Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 Daniel cards. Evil Daniel, 14, 15. About 15 evil Daniel cards. And compare that to something like 63 cards, so... So how many evil Daniel cards is E-Man running in his? He's running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I don't know. I think you could go either way in all these. But yeah, I think this is a great reference to look at for Babylonians, and I like E-Man's. All right, so yeah, before we make our decision, let's maybe think about Persian deck. So let's try to find the Persians. There are no Persian decks currently in community decks, but that's okay. We can go reset filters, filter by evil, reference contains Daniel, evil brigades brown. Start by filtering evil characters. So here's what we're looking at. So the strengths that I'm seeing here are Ahasuerus the Father. Being able to do the play first shenanigans in 100-card decks is really nice. Braved is good. Trusted Politicians is good. Let's see. Darce's Flatterers could be good if you run like Daniel Souls. I think Persians might be best though if they're played with like Haman. And that's probably like not as many Daniel cards. So yeah, I think I like brown in big decks usually, but because of what the other things they can do, like Wandering Israelites. So I think I'm not going to use brown. I think I'm going to try to decide between crimson and black. So if we're doing a crimson deck, being able to do Ancient Early of Days, grabbing lots of Babylonians is strong. Being able to have a territory class Babylonian that protects us from opponents is nice. Very nice. Maybe there's some unexplored territory here with Raiders Camp that we could think about. So maybe what we can do here is we could just create like a template. This will be the base Daniel deck. So we're going to add a storehouse and then like save this. And then from here, we're going to start creating two different decks, one with the Babylonian, one with the Greek. So let's go ahead and duplicate this. So now we got the big Daniel. Let's do this one, Babylonians. So we'll save that. Okay, and so this deck will focus on trying to make the defense Babylonians. So I'll just start by putting the the filter to Crimson and then going for Daniel. Just being able to have two copies of the Overseer is great if they deal with one. Love that. Hold the take, capture hero. Babylonian may band up to two humans. That's okay, I guess. We could play that. Used by a human, band to a non-human. If we're playing lions or demons. Used by a non-human, discard a human. I don't think we're going to be playing that. Let's see. You may reserve a card from a hand. From hand. If you reserve a card from hand, if you do, take an Assyrian to territory or shuffle a Daniel Crimson enhancement from discard pile. So if there's a Daniel Crimson enhancement that we really want to play, we can do this, but I don't think we're going to be wanting to do that. If blocking another Babylonians in play, you may capture a human in a territory. You may draw two or take an evil Daniel card from reserve. I mean, that's okay, I guess. Depraved, negate New Testament cards in battle if blocking. Draw or capture up to X cards. So this card works great with Raiders Camp because if we have Raiders Camp out, Depraved can like capture itself, I think. So that's a lot of potential. So this says if your Unity, if your Babylonians are evil, OT enhancements used by this guy, regardless of protect. I mean, it's nice to have that kind of effect, but having it on a guy with such big numbers is a problem. I'll consider him, but he's probably not my first pick. So if we run multiple magicians, we can do some like hand restriction things. Play from hand, another magician is in play. So this guy doesn't really do anything until you get the other magician. Each player may set aside X cards. So this card leaves play. Restrict those that do not from playing the named card from hand. Yeah, it seems kind of gimmicky. I think I'd rather just play like more impactful stuff. Self-made, negate a card, you may capture your character, top deck this card. If we're doing Raiders Camp, this is amazing. So let's like add two copies of that. Seize for servitude, negate a good card, capture a hero. Regardless of protect if used by Babylonian. It seems good. Order to kill, discard a character if it's evil, prevent the next good enhancement. No, thank you. Nebuchadnezzar's Pride, solid battle winner. Maybe we'll add it. Nebuchadnezzar, protect this card from lone hero and opponent's dominance. Seems good. Let's add the split of Nebuchadnezzar's 1-on-1. Let's cut these. I might want to play this one. Helps us get rid of redundant copies of cards. I don't think we'll be doing Lion's Dens. Don't think we'll be doing that. Selects up to X characters, capture the selected humans, underdeck the rest. Seems okay. I'll add one copy. Conjures is great. I don't think we'll be wanting to play Chaldeans here. Definitely want two copies of Bound Before the Fire. Don't know how good Besieged by Babylon is. Definitely want the first copy of Belshazzar's Mother. Protect Babylon royalty and territory from opponents. Oh, this only protects royalty, huh? I mean, never mind. She's not that good. Belshazzar's 1000. You activate a Daniel artifact from deck or reserve. Banned to a generic Babylonian. I like this card a lot. Blocking, you may discard a captured character under deck up to 2 Daniel Lost Souls. You banned to Babylonian, cannot be negated. Don't think that's going to be good. You may draw 2, you may discard a captured character, discard a hero. I like this guy a lot. You can add 2 copies of him. Prevent the next enhancement. You may equip an OT, Crimson. Yeah, that seems good. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff here. A lot of Babylonians. So yeah, I think we're interested in the Raiders Camp shenanigans here, learning from Jaden. So I think we want maybe 1 or 2 copies of that. And the best card for Raiders Camp is Malachite Slave, so we're going to add him in there. Taking notes again, probably want to look at the other Babylonians. So let's identifier contains Babylonians. Definitely want 2 copies of merchants. You do Nimrod, gets our Raiders Camp in play. Not sure if that's really good. Let's do at least 1 copy of Nergal Shazar. And then do Babylonian Siege Army. If it is human, capture it. Enhancement, discard it. Site, Fortress, reserve it. I think 1 copy is good there, even though it's generic. Do we want to play Babylon? Each upkeep, if an idol is active, opponent must discard a card from hand or capture their human. Evil capture abilities cannot be prevented. Okay, so what happens? Oh, wait. I don't know. Astrologers is okay. Mounted forces may take an OT enhancement of matching brigade from reserve. Surprised Jaden wasn't running that, but I guess he needed his reserve to be full of stuff for Jerry. Okay, add shield. I think that's a great idea. Evil human captures a hero, hold it here. So definitely interested in Babylonians that can capture heroes when they block, and then we can just die. Okay, so let's see. Let's think about some Crimson enhancements we want to be playing that aren't Daniel. There's plenty of good ones out there. Wages of Sin is nice. These by Babylon's amazing. Scattered. We already have 2 type of scattered like effects. But third one maybe wouldn't hurt. Could do a Mask of Vanity type situation. Do lurking. Do betrayal and interrupt the battle. Character may ban any or evil OT humans. Could be nice. Okay, so that's kind of like maybe. So if we're going to be running evil Babylonians, what kind of support do we want to be running with as far as dominance? Definitely want the forces. Definitely want the, what's the one? Perplexing Vision for sure. Definitely want that. What else could we be running? If we're going to be playing A-Bomb, could play Forces Arise, but we'd rather be playing the first copy of Martyr. Okay, so let's do Forces Arise. That's Evil Daniel card, which is nice. Out of Grapes, we got 12 cards. And are we going to be running Meek Lost Souls or not? Because if we're running Meeks, we could do like Burial Led Astray. And if we're not doing Meeks, then we do Harvest Time. So let's see, we have Conjurers who can take Death and Righteous from the reserve. Falling Away is great. So we have 13 dominance. We just need one more. Let's do the Harvest Time route, I guess, maybe. Okay, and then what type of artifacts support we need? So if we're running Belshazzar's 1000, this guy can activate Deck or Reserve. So we probably want at least 1 copy main deck, maybe another copy reserve. Do we need any other artifacts for our Babylonians here? We could do the Idol of Pure. Where is Idol of Nebuchadnezzar? Sorry. Do we want to play 1 or 2 copies? You may take Evil Babylonian from deck. Opponent plays a good card with negated. You may capture it. Okay, so that's an idol. So if we play Babylon, does Babylon hold an idol? Doesn't even hold an idol. Okay. Got our dominance. We need to figure out Lost Soul situation. Definitely want Color Guard for sure. Definitely want Distress. Definitely want Humble. Definitely want Darkness. Question is, do we want Complacent? Definitely want Dole. Definitely want Lawless is good. We do Harvest Time. We can do Imitate Lawless. It's about 9 Lost Souls. Wicked Lost Souls, great. Prosperity's good. Don't think we want Orphans. Negate opponent's banned ability. Sure. Distressed, sure. 13. We need 1 more. We need 2 more because we're playing Hopper. Vindicated, I guess. And maybe Wanderers. Okay, 15. Save that. So we're at 116 main deck. That means we need to cut around 16 cards from our deck. Do we need 2 copies of Idol of Nebuchadnezzar? If we get 1 early, we're basically grabbing a Babylonian every turn for the rest of the game. That's pretty nice. Gives us multiple copies of Overseer and Merchants. 17 evil characters. Do we need 17 evil characters? And we haven't even added Deceiver yet. So I might want to add 2 copies of him. So let's see. I think we can start by getting rid of some enhancements. Let's cut some Nebuchadnezzar's Pride. Let us cut some. This is tough. Don't know what to do. This is where it gets really tough. You have all these cards that you want to keep in your deck, and you don't know what to cut. Maybe let's start by looking at our Ancient of Day count. I'm interested to see what it is right now because we're trying to hit our greater than 5 number. Okay, we are at a 4.2, so we're failing. So if we cut down cards from our deck that aren't Daniel cards, and maybe we can hit that number that we're aiming for. So let's go in each category. This is Daniel. So we'll keep those. Maybe move one of these, the reserve something. As far as enhancements, let's cut a betrayal. Let's cut a scattered, cut a lurking. And as far as evil characters, let's go. Cut a deceiver. Cut a Belshazzar's 1000. As far as fortresses go, keep the fortresses, good enhancements. Keep the good enhancements. Okay, so 110. What does that make us? 4.38. So basically didn't really move the needle by a whole lot there, huh? Okay, so if we want to really get to our high Ancient of Day count, I think we need to just be really aggressive here with cutting things that are not Daniel. That's a start. So let's go cutty. We could always pivot to a more Daniel-centered Lost Soul deck. That's always an option. But Ancient of Days, we don't want it to just draw a bunch of Lost Souls, you know? But if we do have a bunch of Lost Souls, it'll make it a lot less likely if you whiff in the first 3 cards. So that's like the trade-off. Because it just feels awful to go to all this deck building work and then play your Ancient of Days. And it's only like Top 3 cards are not even all Daniel cards. Let's cut those 2 heroes that aren't Daniel. Let's cut 1 enhancement that's not Daniel. Daniel, Matthew, to cut my Love Righteousness, but I don't know if I want to do that. We could put Sheol in the reserve, and then I think I really even want Babylon, so I'm going to cut Babylon. It's too slow, and it's not good enough. Cut a Storehouse, I guess, maybe. Cut Kingdoms of the Divine. If we're doing more Meek Daniel Lost Souls, we could do that card. So we're at 104, and then OT capture abilities cannot be negated. We already have a cannot be negated. Still, like, this guy with all these is pretty nice, I guess. Okay, 104. Cut one of the self-mades, maybe. Let's see. Raiders Camp says evil human captures a hero. Evil human is defeated. Okay, we're down to 103. Maybe. I think we cut this from the main deck. So go down to 102. Then measured mean. And we end up with a 101. As far as the reserve goes, we want something for conjurers. So let's do Crimson or Pale Green Evil Enhancement. Conjurers. So maybe do Death of Unrighteous. And maybe we do like a Scattered maybe in the reserve. Okay, and then we get some more covenants going for a Book of the Covenant package. So what are some good covenants here? So we got the I Am Sustainer. We have the You Remain's great. Valsir Samuel's great. Valsir Samuel helps us push Daniel, the Apocalyptist, into battle without care. What else can we run here? What's E-Man running? So he's running 70 weeks. I Am Sustainer, Redemption, Negate Lost Souls, Release Captured Heroes. So like, yeah, that could be good. Okay. Anything else we want to run in the reserve here? Maybe an A-bomb in the reserve, maybe. There's not a lot of stuff that takes stuff in the reserve here, huh? Not seeing anything as taking stuff from reserve, actually. So maybe, like, gotta worry about Conjurers, Deceiver. Oh, because we're playing Auriok, we probably want Evil Crimson Weapon. So probably this one, yeah. Okay, we'll save that. Now, let's generate that image, Ancient of Day count. So what are we at? 4.32. So we do all this work, and we get to the final result, and it's like 4.32. Okay, is that acceptable? Is that what we want? It does not sound acceptable to me. Could we? Okay, so for test sake, let's just cut the, let's see what happens if we cut the Lost Souls here and put in Daniel Lost Souls and like took out Harvest Time and like added Burial and Led Astray and cut something here. We cut our copy of that, and then we went to Daniel Lost Souls. What would that look like? Okay, so we're at 14 Lost Souls. Generate the image, Ancient of Day count. So this is going to make it less likely that our first Ancient of Day whiffs, but overall we're not going to be getting that many more cards for Ancient of Days. So that jumps us all the way up to 5.84 because we added all these Daniel Lost Souls to deck. So that probably makes our whiff percentage go down by a lot, but the overall number of cards we're getting is not going to be awesome. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, so let's save that deck there. We've been recording for over an hour, and we still have to work on the Daniel Greek deck. Yeah, deck building can be a really long process. So I think in order to simplify things here, let's just look at one of the Daniel Greek decks that we saw and just kind of basically copy its defense and then double it up. Let's load deck, Big Daniel, and then let's go E-Man's Daniel Greek, filter by reference Daniel, and filter to Evil Black Brigade. 2 copies of that, 1 copy of that, 2 copies of this, 2 copies of this, 1 copy of that, 1 copy of that, 2 copies of that, 2 copies of him, 2 copies of that, 2 copies here, 1 copy, 1 copy, 2 copies of Without Touching Reserve, that. We're just kind of speed running this here. Copy of Greece's use to the reserve, add a copy of the Realm of Greece, and a copy of Heal to the reserve, and a copy of what's that? Areopagus. So we got that. And then let's filter on Black Evil enhancements, add Abandonment, add, what else do we have? 2 copies of Self-Glorification Mask, 1 copy of Return to Fight, 1 copy of Wages, copies of Deceiver. Let's add the Dominance now, Good or Evil, Order, add Horses Arise, Flying Away, add Grapes, add Harvest Time, add 1 copy of Flexing Vision, cut the 70 weeks, add A-Bomb. Okay, that's looking good. Save. And then we need to add some lost souls. So if we're doing the harvest time package, let's add some random lost souls. Let's get wicked, indicated, prosperity. Do we have any soul protection? Okay, well, I guess we need orphans then. Let's imitate, open hand, hopper, forsaken, dual, stressed, disoriented, humori, crowds, and color guard. Right, so we're at 101. We can add some more stuff to the reserve. So we'll grab stuff to the reserve. I think we need Kingdom of Divine actually, so cut that down to 100. Yeah, we can go back to adding those covenants. Covenant, we can grab the I'm Redemption and I am Sustainer. So save that. 8 cards in the reserve. We have a storehouse, so we can maybe put a scatter sheep in the reserve. Then let's add another Black Daniel enhancement or something. All the other Black Daniel enhancements are pretty bad though, so I don't think I actually want that. Okay, so we have 9 cards in reserve. We just need one more. Uno Maso. Okay, anyways, I don't know. But anyways, let's generate that image and see what our Ancient of Day count is here with our Big Daniel Greek deck. What are we at? Give me something good. 4.71. So that's better than Babylonians for sure. Still not above 5. So yeah. Okay, so I think that's where we're going to end up. Let's rename this Big Daniel Greeks. And I think that's where that's good enough for now. Let's go ahead and make this public. And then let's make the other deck public so you guys can view these. Load deck, make public. And so now I'm going to have some options, test these out. I can see how good a 4.7, 4.3 Ancient of Day count feels. And so I can test these at my locals and Lackey, and I can go from there. So sorry. Thanks for watching, everybody. Sorry it took so long, but that's a little bit of the deck building process that I go through when building decks. All right. See ya. Bye. Redemption, you're all I need. Redemption.